Reality television thrives on dramatic twists, emotional revelations, and unexpected turns. Few shows embody that formula quite like the hit Netflix series Love is Blind. Over the years, the dating experiment has become famous for its unconventional approach to romance, asking contestants to fall in love without ever seeing each other. But even longtime fans were surprised during season 10 when one engaged couple, Christine Hamilton and Vic Street John, didn't join the rest of the cast for the traditional post-engagement getaway in Mexico. Instead of the tropical honeymoon viewers had come to expect, the pair ended up on a quieter escape in Malibu. At first, fans were confused, and some even suspected behind-the-scenes drama. But as the couple later revealed, the real story behind the change was far more straightforward than it seemed. This is the full story of what really happened to Christine and Vic during their unusual Love is Blind journey, and why their romantic path looked very different from everyone else's. The Love is Blind experiment. Since its debut, Love is Blind has become one of Netflix's most talked about reality dating series. Created by Chris Colin, the show challenges singles to build emotional connections without seeing one another. Participants speak through isolated pods, forming bonds based solely on conversation and compatibility. The experiment follows several stages. The pods. Singles date each other without visual contact. Engagement. Couples who feel a strong connection get engaged before meeting face to face. The honeymoon trip. Newly engaged couples travel together, typically to Mexico, to deepen their relationships. Real-world integration. Couples move in together, meet families, and prepare for their wedding day. The altar. Each couple decides whether to marry or walk away. For many fans, the Mexico honeymoon has become one of the most exciting parts of the show. It's where couples finally interact with other contestants and face real-world temptations or unresolved feelings. So when Christine and Vic didn't show up there, viewers immediately noticed. Christine and Vic's connection in the pods. Christine Hamilton and Vic Street John quickly became one of the most intriguing couples of season 10. Their relationship developed rapidly inside the pods, where they bonded over shared values, humor, and emotional openness. Unlike many other contestants who juggled multiple connections, Christine and Vic focused almost exclusively on each other. Their conversations were deep, reflective, and often heartfelt. In fact, they became one of the first couples to get engaged that season, a sign that their connection was strong and clear early in the process. When they finally met face to face after the proposal, the chemistry appeared genuine. There was excitement, affection, and relief that the emotional bond they had built translated into real-life attraction. Naturally, both expected the next step in the experiment, the famous honeymoon trip. The surprise announcement. Production initially told them they were going to Mexico, just like the other engaged couples. Christine later explained that the morning after their reveal, producers confirmed the travel plans and even told them the departure time. For the couple, it felt like the adventure was just beginning. But not long afterward, they received unexpected news. They would not be continuing their journey with the main group in Mexico. Instead, the show would take their story in another direction. For a moment, the change left Christine unsure about what would happen next. Why they didn't go to Mexico. The explanation behind the decision was surprisingly simple, and mostly logistical. Season 10 produced more engaged couples than the show usually follows. Normally, producers only track about 5 couples through the full experiment, sometimes stretching to 6. But that season, there were 7 engagements they felt were worth exploring. Sending every couple to Mexico would have required extra filming crews, accommodations, and production resources. The show simply didn't have the budget to cover all of them. Christine and Vic were selected to take a different path. Another key reason: drama. Budget wasn't the only factor. Reality television often depends on unresolved relationships and emotional tension to create compelling moments. Many contestants had lingering connections with other pod dates, meaning the Mexico retreat could trigger dramatic confrontations or romantic complications. Christine and Vic were different. They had been committed to each other almost from the beginning. They didn't have love triangles, jealousy issues, or unfinished conversations with other contestants. In the eyes of producers, that meant the Mexico group environment, designed to spark drama, wouldn't add much to their story. Instead, they were given another option: the Malibu alternative. Rather than sending them home entirely, production offered Christine and Vic a different romantic getaway. The destination: Malibu, California. Instead of a crowded group honeymoon filled with cameras and other couples, they would spend several days together in a more private setting. The choice came with a unique twist. They would travel mostly without a production crew. They would document parts of the trip themselves. Their time together would focus on building their relationship rather than navigating group dynamics. Christine admitted she was initially nervous when producers explained the situation. For a brief moment, she even worried that Vic might reconsider the relationship if their experience differed from everyone else's. But her concerns disappeared quickly. A different kind of honeymoon. While other couples dealt with jealousy, awkward reunions, and dramatic confrontations in Mexico, Christine and Vic experienced something completely different. Their Malibu trip was peaceful and intimate. They spent long hours talking, reflecting on their pod conversations, and learning how their relationship worked in the real world. Without cameras constantly around them, they had the chance to connect naturally. Vic later described the experience as tranquil. For the couple, the time alone helped strengthen their bond in ways that might not have happened in a chaotic group environment. Christine even said the experience reminded her of the Mexico honeymoon in spirit, because they continued the experiment without outside distractions. Fans react to the unexpected twist. When episodes aired, viewers were puzzled. Some fans wondered if something dramatic had happened behind the scenes. Others thought the couple had been cut from the show. The lack of footage from their trip also fueled speculation. Unlike the Mexico couples, who had camera crews following them constantly, Christine and Vic only shared small glimpses of their time in Malibu through self-recorded clips. That difference made their storyline feel more mysterious. But as interviews with the couple emerged, fans began to understand the real reason behind the unusual choice. Returning to reality, after the Malibu getaway, Christine and Vic eventually returned to their normal lives in Ohio, where the next phase of the experiment continued. They moved forward with the same challenges the other couples faced. Meeting families, discussing finances, adjusting to living together, planning their wedding. Despite their unconventional start, their relationship remained strong. Many fans considered them one of the most stable couples of the season. The wedding decision. When the wedding day finally arrived, viewers were eager to see whether the couple who skipped Mexico would make it to marriage. At the altar, Christine and Vic both said, "I do." Their journey, beginning with pod conversations and continuing through a private Malibu retreat, ended in a real marriage. The decision proved that their connection had survived the unusual circumstances of the experiment. Life after the show. The story didn't end with the wedding. At the season 10 reunion, the couple revealed that they were still happily married and living together in Ohio. Their success surprised some viewers but also reinforced the central idea behind the show, that emotional compatibility can lead to lasting love. Producers even gave them a second honeymoon, celebrating the unique path they had taken during filming. Why their story matters. Christine and Vic's experience highlights something important about Love is Blind. While the show is famous for dramatic confrontations and messy relationships, its original goal was to explore whether love can truly form without physical attraction. In some ways, their journey represented the purest version of that experiment. Without distractions, rivalries, or outside pressure, they were able to focus entirely on each other. Ironically, the twist that initially looked like a disadvantage may have helped their relationship succeed. A unique love story in Love is Blind history. Every season of Love is Blind has memorable couples, but Christine and Vic's story stands out because it broke the usual format. Instead of Mexico drama, they had Malibu calm. Instead of group chaos, they had private connection. Instead of uncertainty, they built a relationship away from the cameras. Their journey proved that sometimes the most authentic love stories happen when reality TV steps back and lets the relationship unfold naturally. Final thoughts. When fans first realized Christine and Vic weren't going to Mexico, it seemed like something had gone wrong behind the scenes. But the truth was much simpler. Production limitations, combined with the couple's drama-free relationship, led to a different plan, one that ultimately gave them a more intimate and meaningful experience. In the end, their unconventional journey became one of the most successful love stories of the season. And perhaps it proved the very question the show asks every season. Is love really blind? For Christine Hamilton and Vic Street. John, the answer appears to be yes.